Alright guys, hey, it's Marine here, bringing you a very wonderful battle I just had in my STI. As you can see, the map is Stalingrad. There are two tier 9s on each team. Their tier 9s are the 103 and the 53-55, while we have the 95 who's failed platooned with a Pref 8 vehicle, and myself. And so what I've decided to do here is be a little bit aggressive, and I just want to push up with as far as I feel comfortable. There's some pretty good hold down area, and I just feel like it would be advantageous for me to get into that kind of position. But as you're going to see, what happens is they start to actually push up the one line. Okay, initially here I wanted to get a peek down, but I decide that I will miss out on a shot on this mutt. And so I can't say no to some free damage. And so now I see the 103 is on the outside. And so I'm going to position here to start side scraping. Now I made a little mistake there. I didn't need to poke out in that manner. So here I'm just going to feather for shots. Don't see any. I'm actually over angled here a little bit. And I went ahead and took a snapshot of this 103. I figured I could get back into safety before he would be able to get a shot into me. And I'm not sure what this E75 was doing there. As you can see, that worked out really well for him. I would have liked to have shoot that Roomba, but that wasn't going to happen. And so I see that they have a lot of pressure over there, and so I decide to go ahead and just back off. And initially I think I should back up into the KV5 and the T95, but I feel like I have enough space here to be pretty safe. I want to try to feather shots into this 103. I was looking for a shot through the buildings here. And so I see that the E25 and 122 are all moving up along with the Patton KR. And so what I decide to do right now is put a shot into that 122, ram him, and keep on using this for cover. Because I did that, the KR had absolutely no way of getting around me. And so here again, I'm just going to use the third person to get shots over this. I really don't need to aim my shots carefully at this point. And so I'm right here, I'm just trying to keep Artie safe and keep angled towards the current threat. Now I pre-aimed behind the KV5, assuming the KR was going to go there. He did, but I ran into a building. And so here I see the 32 is moving up. Now I decided to poke here to get some shots into him. I'm positioned here so that I could support the T95. Because if I'd have been at the other alleyway, I would not have been able to get over here in time to support this 103. And what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to start reverse angling on this 103 instead of trying to turn my tank completely around. And as you can see, that confuses him a little bit. So I'm just going to keep blasting my rear into him. This allows the T95 to get a shot. I accidentally let go of my auto aim here, but it ended up working out. And that's the T-34-100 shooting heat. I thought initially about going down the 3 line, well, north on the 3 line, but I decided against it. Snapshot of the Bulldog so that I can move forward. Didn't want to sit there and aim that shot. Not too worried about them now that I have the T95 behind me and healthy. And I try to get a shot through this building at the 34. A little bit of a hard shot, but I just want to be able to move up to support this 95 who is in a 2-on-1. Unfortunately, I get trolled by my driving here, and I get tracked by that Panther 2. I decide that he's the threat that I need to take out. I feel like I can angle against that 32, and then use the wreckage of this E-25 to help angle against the Panther. I'll have a hard time penetrating me. So I started to turn my turret just to get him to back off, take a quicker shot than what he wanted to. Get my tracks up, move up on him again, and I got lucky there that he did not pen or track me. And so I poke out just far enough here to get a quick shot into him, and I immediately back off. I stayed at a 45-degree angle looking down that E-line so that they would not be able to get a shot at me. And as you can see, I'm now on a 1 versus 5. And so what I'm thinking is I kind of want to stick around my cap. They do have the numerical advantage still. And I poke here initially, just the front of my vehicle, and I get lit. So I know that the 34 is probably down that direction. And I just want to get safe from the 53-55. I figured the 53-55 is probably moving up over here. And so by staying here until I'm sure that I'm delit, it gives me an opportunity to avoid artillery fire. Luckily, this 34-100 wasn't actually in the back cap, trying to use that as a merry-go-round. He went to the front of the cap, which just meant that he was very easy to picking there. And so I decide now to basically angle off the buildings in front of me. Really don't want to get caught out. And so what he messed up right then was he did not track me. If he would have tracked me, it could have been game over. His DPM isn't that great, but with the Bulldog behind me, that could have been a devastating situation. But he didn't track me, and so I live. And so I decide here to push forward through that T-28 concept because he was not going to pen the front of my tank. And so now I've quickly whittled it down to a 1 versus 2. And I see that the 53-55 he mistakenly waited for me to fire. And I turned the wrong way because I was driving backwards here, but I started to back up just to try and use that tank as cover. And I was able to get the final kill. I ended this game with over 1,600 base experience and with 7,000 damage. I felt like in the end I prioritized the correct targets. I had some tactical errors, but it was made up for by the lack of my enemy's ability to track me. If they would have dedicated themselves to limiting my mobility in that situation, it would have been potentially game over. I'm not sure if I would have been able to win it, but because they were trying to deal damage instead of immobilizing me and giving me opportunities to angle my tank to engage the tank that I wanted to engage, it just made for honestly a fairly easy 5-on-1, but it was still very, very much in doubt. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoy this. I hope you picked something up. I certainly enjoyed it. I had to take a couple moment break after this one just because it's been such a long time since I've had a carry like this, and it's only the second Kolobanov of my WOT career. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed.